You guys might be asking, what is an air gun? We're here to explain the key features to what makes an air gun and how they function. This gun we have is an FX Impact, but what all air guns are going to have in common is an onboard cylinder that holds compressed air. That is what fires the projectile, is just compressed air. With more features on the gun, you can have a regulated air gun, which is going to be a consistent compressed air that's firing, or some will come unregulated, but they all will have that same feature. All guns are going to give you a gauge to tell you how much pressure you have in it. If they're regulated, they're also going to give you a gauge that has your regulator pressure. Most every modern air gun now will have a rifled barrel, and they're set up for different calibers, but most everything's running a rifled barrel. The most common is going to be your side cocking mechanism, which is going to charge it for your next shot. And most of them are going to have a magazine of some sort, while some will have single feed options.
So here at Utah Airguns, we have a ton of different options for you. This is a custom-built compact. This would be in .22 caliber maybe for backyard shooting. Really short, really quiet, has a lot of shots per fill. This would be, great if you're just shooting pop cans or if you're going to be hunting spawn game. If you go over to like a big bore, where this is a little bit more basic, you don't get as many shots per fill. It could be in like a 50 caliber, so it's using a lot of air. These are great if you're going to be hunting bigger sized animals, big game in certain states, or shooting out at long distance. So 100 plus yards, it can handle that no problem. Whereas this is going to be kind of geared for maybe 100 yards and in. So regardless of your needs here at Utah Airguns, we've got something for you. Whether it's a compact, a big bore, in between, custom build, basic, whatever you want, let us know and we can get it built for you.
So what is a moderator and why do you need one? Well, these are moderators that go on the front of the gun and they make it quieter. This is a great benefit because you can keep a conversation while you're shooting. You're not alerting the neighbors. You're not bothering other people around you. And when you're teaching a shooter how to shoot, they're not distracted by loud noises that for little kids or new shooters could be scary. These make the shooting a lot more enjoyable, and they can also make your gun more accurate by stripping the air away from the pellet as it leaves the muzzle. We have a bunch of different types. We've got Huggets, we've got Impulse Air, we've got Donnie FL. These are not all the models, obviously. Some of them work by individual, conical sections, baffles that strip the air away from the pellet as it goes away. The Donnie FLs use a monocore system. How big of a moderator do I need? Well, the bigger the caliber, the more powerful the gun, the bigger the moderator you tend to need. And of course, don't forget that one of the main reasons you want to get one is because it makes your gun look cool.
We're talking about scopes. We're just going to go over a brief kind of overview of a lot of questions we get asked by customers when they're trying to select an optic to go on their new air rifle. Mils versus minutes. Either one of them will work for you as a shooter if you know how to use the system. They're both just an angular measurement that can be used to help you calibrate the rifle and the scope to work in conjunction with one another to not only zero but also to shoot at distance. One of the most important things to do is make sure that your turrets and the reticle that's inside the scope, that they're calibrated in the same unit of measure, whether it's mil radian or minutes of angle. So the parallax is kind of like your target focus. That allows you a range of where you can make sure that you don't have any image error by being able to focus the reticle and the image to be in the same focal plane. With these scopes, they're not a particular air rifle scope, they're just a standard rifle scope. But we want to have a parallax adjustment that focuses down to a close yardage, maybe 15 to 20 yards, and then out to whatever distance you're planning on using from there. So one thing that we need to cover is a common question of whether I need a second or first focal plane. And that is entirely up to you as a shooter and the discipline that you're going to use the system for. They both have advantages and disadvantages. One of the key things with a first focal plane is that the reticle that is within the optic itself, no matter what power range that you have it set on, it is going to stay calibrated to what you can measure with that reticle, and then you can also take that information and dial it with the turrets. On a second focal plane, it's generally only calibrated in one power scale, and so that's where it's up to you. You need to figure out what it is that you're going to be doing with the system, because there is no absolute answer. It's what you realistically want it to do to get the results you want. The next thing that we're going to talk about is glass quality. We always recommend people purchase the best optic that you can afford, because one of those things that happens is that you as a new shooter, I'll just get something that I need that'll work now. As you start to progress and your skills get better, then you'll quickly outrun the capability of the optic itself. One thing that will hold you back is the level of glass quality you have. So with that, seek out realistically what you're going to want to do with the system. and then try to purchase the best quality optic that you can afford. If there's any questions that you have of us that would help clarify, you making the right decision in what system that you want that would perform the way you would like it to, go ahead and leave those in the comments, and then we can get back to you and help you make that decision.